Hi, my name is Ricky and you're very welcome to B&Q's how-to video on installing paneling to the interior walls of your home. In this video we're going to focus on walking through the installation process for two types of paneling. The first one we will deal with will be the installation process for TG sheeting just like this material here, and the second one will deal with the step-by-step installation process for a rail and stile system just like the one you're looking at here. And we're real hopeful that by the end of the whole video you will be more than capable of turning out a professional looking job like this in your own home. Okay folks, the first thing I'm going to talk you through is the actual process of applying the paneling onto the wall. Now when it comes to applying the paneling onto the wall, there's going to be generally two types of wall you're going to encounter in a domestic situation. And those two types of wall are a stud wall and a block wall. The scenario for the block wall will be block with a skim coat of plaster applied onto it, and then that generally has a painted finish. And in terms of the plasterboard wall, it's a stud wall with plasterboard affixed to the actual stud wall, and then again that will have a skim coat of plaster applied onto it, and again, like the block wall, it will have a coat of paint applied on top of the skim coat. Now when it comes to applying the actual cladding onto both types of wall, it's very much the same, okay? So how you would actually apply the cladding onto the block wall would be very simple. All you would do is you would apply it with the use of construction adhesive, like this one here we have here is F7, really good for this particular task. And then just to hold the actual paneling in place while the construction adhesive sets, you would use some 15mm panel pins. Ultimately it's the adhesive, remember, that is holding the cladding to the wall. Now, likewise, when it comes to the actual stud wall, again, all you need to do is apply some construction adhesive onto the back of the actual cladding, and then apply that to the wall, and again, use the actual 15mm panel pins to hold the cladding in place while the adhesive sets. Now, one slight problem we're going to encounter when you actually go to apply the cladding is this, okay? Okay, so one challenge you're potentially going to face when you start to apply the actual paneling onto the wall, and indeed subsequent layers of trim, such as your cap rail, chair rail, and your skirting boards, is this. Because we've already gone and put 7mm paneling onto the wall, when we go and apply the actual skirting board on top of the paneling, as you can see, it's not going to die nice and neatly into the architrave. In fact, the skirting board is going to stand proud of the actual architrave by around 7mm. Now it's very easy to actually overcome that problem, okay? And this is how you actually overcome it. Literally take off your existing casing or architrave and then rip yourself down some MDF to the outer dimension of the actual architrave. Then apply that piece of MDF to the wall, again using construction adhesive and some panel pins. And then all you've got to do is reapply the architrave on top of the MDF backer. And what will happen then is, it's actually built out enough for the actual MDF to die in perfectly, the skirting board to die in perfectly to the architrave. And now we have a nice, aesthetically desirable flush joint. Okay folks, so that's the process for dealing with the awkward transition between the actual skirting board and the architrave when you're dealing with a wall that you're only going to panel with TNG sheet. However, if you wish to actually create a wainscot system like this one here, whereby you've got rails and stiles incorporated into the equation, you've got a slightly different scenario. Because in this instance, we're not only applying the actual paneling onto the wall, we're going to then apply a subsequent layer of the actual rails and stiles. And what happens there is it actually encroaches more on the depth of the architrave, okay? What will happen then is you're going to be standing proud of the architrave substantially. But there is a really easy way to actually overcome that scenario. And what we're going to do is now we're going to move across to another rig here, and we're going to explain that process to you. But it's very simple, as you're just about to see. Okay folks, so like I said, what we're going to do now is talk you through the process of how you're ever going to overcome the problem of the built-up layers, the combined depth of all the built-up layers standing proud of the actual architrave, which would be, this is a normal piece of architrave that you have around a standard opening, okay? So as you can see, when we're doing a stile and rail wainscot system, you're going to have the combined depth of the paneling, the rail or stile, the chair rail and the cap rail to contend with. So as you can clearly see, if I hold this actual mock-up here against the wall, that if we were to use this built-up system and have it terminate against a normal piece of architrave, it's standing substantially proud of the actual architrave. So in order to overcome that, we're going to incorporate a system very similar to what we used earlier on with regard to the actual TNG cell. Okay? And all we've done here is, again, we've taken off the existing architrave, and what we've done is we've applied 2 pieces of 18mm MDF to the back of the architrave and fixed the whole assembly onto the wall. Again, you can use screws here, nails and construction adhesive to make sure that this assembly stays permanently on the wall, and then just reattach the actual placing or architrave on top of your backer board here. Okay? And when you do that, folks, what can happen is you'll be able to terminate the whole assembly perfectly in against the built-up architrave here, and you achieve a seamless finish, looks really good and looks really professional. So like I said, very, very simple to do at the start of the assembly. Okay guys, the next step in the process is to actually ascertain the exact amount of packets we need to purchase in order to panel the wall. And it's actually very, very simple to do. All we need to do is take a measurement from here to here, from here to here, here to here, and then add up those 3 measurements. So the process goes like this. I measure this wall here and I can see it's 840mm, so I jot that measurement down. I measure this wall here and I can see it's 380mm, and I jot that down, Then I take the full and final measurement here and I can see that's 480mm, and again I jot that down. Now all I have to do is add up all those dimensions, and you can see it comes to 1m690. And now in order to find out how many actual packets I need to buy, I just consult the actual packaging here, okay, to determine how many boards are actually contained in the pack, along with the overall width of each board. Okay? So on the packaging I can see that this pack contains 5 boards, and each board is 95mm thick. So if I add up 5 boards at 95mm each, what I'll come up with is 475. Yeah? Then all I've got to do is take the overall linear measurement we took of the wall we're going to panel, divide the 475 into the 1690, and I get 3.557. So obviously we're not going to purchase half a pack, or just less than half a pack. So what we're going to do is we're going to round up, and we're going to purchase 4 packs in total. And what that will do, that will actually facilitate any damages or any waste that we incur as we go through the process. Okay folks, what I'm going to walk you through now is the next step in the process, and that is actually laying out the wall before you apply the paneling. Okay? Now it's very important, if you want to achieve the professional looking finish, that we lay the wall out so all our cuts are symmetrical. And what I mean by that is that we have equally sized cuts left and right. Okay? So in order to achieve that, it's paramount that we don't just arbitrarily pick one side of the wall and start working away from it. Okay? Because think of it like this. If I was to just come along and actually put the actual paneling on this side of the wall and start working away across the wall, potentially what could happen is, by the time I get over here, I can end up with a sliver of cut over here, whereas I want a full board here. That won't look good aesthetically, and it's not going to yield a professional looking finish, okay? So what we've got to do to make sure that doesn't happen is, we've just got to make sure we work off a central point on the wall, okay? Now, another thing that we're going to make sure we do as well is that, even though we'll have equally sized cuts here, by working off a central location and by incorporating the method we're going to show you now in a moment, by using an actual paneling gauge rod, it will ensure that we don't end up with a sliver of a cut. So we will have equal cuts either side, and they won't be a sliver of a cut. Okay? Okay folks, the next stage in the process is to actually find a central point on the wall so that we can lay our paneling out from this point and achieve the symmetrical layout that we previously alluded to. Okay, so the first step in the process is just to take an overall measurement of the wall, and as you can see here, it's 840mm. Now, in order to find the actual centre of that wall, it's very, very simple. All I have to do is divide the 840 in half, which is 415mm, and then I just make a mark on the wall, registration mark on the wall at 415mm. Now, the next step is to simply take a level, register on that 415mm mark that we previously made, and make sure it's actually plumb, and then strike a plumb line down the entire length of the wall. A word of warning here guys, okay? This line has to be plumb, okay? So don't fall into the trap of putting a measurement from here, 415mm, and the same measurement from here, 415mm, and then joining the lines. For the simple reason, if this wall here, if this edge of the wall, corner of the wall is not plumb, then these marks here, the line that you make here, won't be plumb. And subsequently what will happen is your joint lines will not be plumb as you progress across the wall. Okay guys, before we start actually applying the paneling to the wall, there's one important step that I want to talk you through, okay? And that's actually creating a dead level horizontal line across the actual wall, okay? Now the reason we need this is we have to make sure that as we apply the paneling to the wall, like so, that the top edges align perfectly, okay? Because that will facilitate much easier insertion of the chair rail and the cap rail later on in the process, okay? Now, another thing you'll know is, okay, that the distance that we've actually struck this horizontal line at, okay, is quite a bit higher than the overall dimension of the boards. The boards are 890mm long, okay? But the reason for that is, okay, if we keep the boards elevated up off from the floor, okay, up off the floor, what that will mean is any undulations in the floor won't be reflected up into the paneling, and it just facilitates a much easier installation process, okay? So in order to establish that line there, what we've done is we've just come up 36 inches up off the floor, made a registration mark, and taken a level, and we've literally gone and struck a dead level line right across the wall, okay? Okay folks, so now that we've struck our level line along the wall here, obviously we need to continue that line around any other walls that we're going to panel. So the next step now is to actually attach our level guide rail along the wall as perfectly as we possibly can along that horizontal line that we previously struck. That just goes like so. Now, if you were attaching this to a block wall, you could just tack it on with some steel nails. Just tack them in part way, and that'll hold them in place. And then when you're finished the job, you can just retract those nails and take the guide rail off. Okay? And again, we would have to return this around this side of the wall as well. So I'll just do that now. Very simple process, but an extremely important step in terms of achieving professional finish. And again, I'll do the same with the third and final piece. What this means is now that we can start to install our paneling, and once we have put the paneling nice and tight up to the guide rail, we will then know with absolute confidence that when we take the guide rail away, we're going to have a level, dead straight horizontal line, which we can then apply our chair rail, cap rail, or any dowler rails that we want to onto it, and have a dead straight, perfect finish.